All right, welcome to Survive to Thrive. Happy Monday, everybody. Do me a favor in the chat, put how many months of inventory are in your market. Now, I know it's going to depend on price range and so on, but just on average, how many months of inventory are in your market? So having seller conversations with someone who is on the market and not selling, or having a conversation at the kitchen table in a listing presentation, and you're having a pricing strategy conversation versus a pricing conversation, or just in general talking to someone part of your sphere of influence, your past clients, and they're asking you, how's the market? So I think a lot of people are visual learners, and I know I am. And anytime I have the opportunity to pull out my thinking pad, as Zig Ziglar would call it, I'm just going to start drawing pictures. And if I go back to 2006, for example, the market prior to 2006 was very similar to the market that we've had for the last couple of years. I think we maxed out at 6.3 million homes sold in 2005 before we started to see a shift in the number of homes being sold. And what followed that? Inventory went up. We went from less than 30 days of inventory to 90 days of inventory. And then it almost seemed like overnight. Brad, you were selling real estate with me at that time. It almost seemed overnight that we went from 90 days of inventory to 6 months of inventory. It got worse from there. Oh my gosh. We were taking listings in price ranges where there was more than a year of inventory. I had one where there was more than 3 years of inventory. All right. So what happens when the number of homes being sold slows down? Inventory goes up. And what happens in the market is you'll start to see prices are no longer going up. They've hit a plateau. In other words, they're flatlined. Now, typically, what's coming next? What's coming next is prices are going to start dropping. How much and how long, we don't know. But here's what I can tell you. I can tell you, if you look at the market shifts in the past, on average, we're looking at a minimum of 2 years. Now, if you go back and you look at 2006, 7, 8, the market started shifting in 2006. Prices didn't really start dropping until 2008. And at the time, most of the experts were saying, okay, we're in this market. It's going to be a V market. In other words, we're going to go down for a short period of time. And when we hit the bottom, Emily, we're gonna come right back up. They were predicting that prices are going to drop for about a year. It'll take a year for them to come back. It's going to be about a two-year shift. All right, reality. In reality, what happened was the market dropped until 2012, and then it didn't come straight back up. It looked more like a U. And if you tracked it back over a period of time, it was 2016 before we had prices that were equal to 2008. It took 8 years. It took 8 years to get back to where you were in 2008. So for all of those sellers who said, we're just going to wait because things are going to get better, and I don't think it's going to really be that bad. It was 8 years before their home was worth what it was in 2008. All right, now, in speaking with homeowners, part of our job as a local economist of choice is to know the local market better than anybody else does. In other words, how many homes are currently on the market in your market? How many active listings are there in your market? Do you know the answer to that? If you do, put it in the chat. What's the active inventory? Now, if you don't know the answer to that, this is your clue or cue to start studying the market. 15,000 listings, Brian?
Yep.
Lee cow. How many realtors do you have in Austin? I bet that's more than, never mind, bunny trail.
I don't know what the new number is, but it's probably down to, I'm sure, 10,000, something like that, you know?
Okay, Sean just put 10,000 in the
Plus,
chat.
plus.
10,000 plus. Holy cow, holy cow. For our local market, for those of you who are in the Tampa Bay area like I am, I'm wondering what you're seeing for active listings right now. The other thing that I would ask you, do you know the answer to, is what's the average days on market? If you know the answer, put it in the chat. What's the average days on market? Now, when you're able to have a conversation with another individual as a local economist of choice, and you're able to share things with them like, we currently have 15,000 homes that are on the market in the Austin market. The average days on market is 180 days. 6 months of that's 6 months. Wow. What is the list price to sell price ratio? Do you know the answer to that question? Now, when I'm asking you what is the list price to sell price ratio, I'm not asking you what's the sale price to list price based on where the home was priced at the time it went under contract. I want you to know what the sale price to original list price ratio is. All part of being a local economist of choice, all part of being a strategic pricing professional. Now, I'm going to take that information and I'm going to share. Okay, so let me pick someone. Latoya, how's it going? Love the glasses. So Latoya, here's what's going on our market right now. Since 2000, let's try to get this to scale, guys. From 2012 until 2020, prices were going up. Matter of fact, the market was pretty hot, and at certain periods of time, we had 0 to 30 days of inventory. In other words, we had a red hot seller's market. And when that happens, prices are going up. I mean, it makes sense. When you're in a red hot seller's market, the last home that sells creates a new floor, meaning the next one's going to sell for more money. Now, what's happened in the past couple of years is we've started to see the number of homes being sold is slowing down. Matter of fact, in 2021, we had 6.2 million homes sold in the US. In 2023, it was right at 4 million homes sold. Huge difference, guys. It's a huge difference. Now, what else we've noticed, Latoya, is inventory is starting to climb. In other words, there's more competition today than there was a year ago. Now, as inventory climbs, you've got buyers. And let's just say that you have, let's reverse this. Let's say you have 5 homes for sale. We'll make it 5. We have 5 homes for sale for every 1 buyer. Now, when that happens, sellers are competing for buyers. These are all scripts, guys. Write them down, write them down, write them down. And when you're in a market where sellers are competing for buyers, the only way the sellers are going to win that competition is what? What's the only way that they're going to win that competition, guys?
Priced accordingly?
Price. That's it. Price. And it's not accordingly. It's better than the other guy.
Okay.
So if we base it on what's the home worth, we're losing. We've got a price to beat the competition. Script. Write it down. Now, one of these sellers is going to be more motivated than the others. And when that happens, that seller is going to drop their price. Wherever it needs to be, they're going to drop it in order to get their home sold. When that happens, the last home that's sold, that doesn't look like, it looks like a shark. The last home that sold, there we go, creates a new ceiling, meaning the next home is going to sell for less money. It's a script. Write it down. Now, when that happens, we're going to start seeing the market do this, which is exactly what's going on right now. We are seeing prices drop. Now, depending on where you live, you've seen prices drop maybe 1 or 2%. Maybe you've seen them drop by as much as 10%. And my job as a real estate agent is to make an observation. This is what I see. Hey, Joanne, so glad you're here. This is what I see. Based on what I see, this is my forecast. So Emily, here's what I see. I'm seeing right now that we have a lot of inventory right now. Matter of fact, in the local Charlotte market, there's 2,000. By the way, this doesn't apply to the Charlotte market because I know in that market it's still pretty hot, right? Okay. You've got, let me pick somewhere where I know it's not so great. Back to Brian. We've got 15,000 homes on the market. Our average days on market is about 180 days on the market. We're seeing the list price, a sale price to the original list price ratio of about 92%. By the way, just 2 years ago, we were looking at less than 30 days of inventory. Homes were selling in less than 30 days, and they were selling for on an average of about 102%, just 2 years ago. But the market shifts. And when a shift happens, it happens slowly, and then it happens fast. It'll take your breath away. Script, write it down. All right, now when that happens, you're going to start to see the prices start to drop, which is what we're seeing already. And if we have 24 homes for sale in your price range and 4 are selling every 30 days, then we have a 6-month supply of inventory. And that doesn't mean that all 24 of these homes are going to sell in 6 months because there's new homes coming on the market every month. Write it down. Matter of fact, a month from now, you've probably got 28 homes for sale and there's still 4 selling every 30 days. Now you're looking at 7 months of inventory. Now, when you're in a market like this, what's going to happen is there's going to be motivated sellers, and those motivated sellers, they're going to price ahead of the market. In other words, they're going to price here, not here. They're going to price where the market's going. That's the strategy to get your home sold when there's a lot of inventory. If you price right at market value, you're not going to beat the competition. And it may be the right price based on comparables, but it won't be the right price for long because prices are dropping. A week later, you're overpriced. 30 days later, you're more overpriced. 60 days later, you're even more overpriced. And then what ends up happening is a seller, let's just say they enter the market at $725,000 because that's what the market says it's worth. Meanwhile, you have another home that's very, very comparable down here at $700,000. You're the buyer. Which one are you going to choose? The $700,000 home. Now this seller, 60 days later says, all right, hasn't sold, drop the price to 700. The problem with that is it's not 700 anymore. Now it's 680. And what they're doing is they're chasing the market down. You can either create the market or you can chase the market. Write it down. Script. If you want to sell your home, you have to beat the competition. In order to beat the competition, top 25% in presentation, bottom 25% in price. That's the strategy. But my home is nicer than everybody else's. I know. That's why it's going to sell. But you're not going to get what you want for it. But I need the money. Buyer doesn't care how much money you need. The market doesn't care how much money you need. If you were selling stocks, let's say you have stocks in Apple and it's worth whatever it is, and you're selling your shares and you want 10% more than what they're worth, there's a hard number. It's worth this. No argument. It's worth this. Now you go to sell those shares and you ask for 10% more than it's worth, nobody's going to buy them. But your response is, but I need the money. Nobody cares. To that same seller who says, but I just spent $50,000 updating my home. Response, did you know you were going to sell your home when you did that? If you could have the same, if you could have the updates or the $50,000, which would you choose? 3 reasons people make improvements to their property Number one, personal enjoyment. You made those improvements 2 years ago, which means you got to live in the house for 2 years and you got to enjoy those improvements. Reason number two, increase value. Yeah, and most of the time it is going to increase the value, but it's not 100%. It's not dollar for dollar. Now, guys, the example that I use here for everybody who is in a state where everybody has pools, like Florida. If you put a pool in and you spent $40,000 to put in a new pool, and a year from now you go to sell your house, Brad, how much is the appraiser going to give you for that pool? You spent $40,000 putting in a new pool. How much is the appraiser going to give you for that pool?
25,000 maybe.
Maybe. Boy, you're lucky if it's that.
It's more like 10 in our market.
Yeah, well, there you go. Guys, it's you tell me. I don't know. My experience is 7 years old, but my experience was appraisers give you $12,000 to $15,000 for the pool. That's it. Doesn't matter how old it is. Doesn't matter how much money you spent. It's $12,000 to $15,000. Spent 40, you got 12. Was that about 25%? Yeah. So the improvements will increase the value, but maybe 25 cents on every dollar, maybe. Now, the third reason you make improvements to your home is to make it more sellable in a competitive market. This is where we need to focus right now. Because you made the improvements will be the reason your home sold. So cool, glad you did it. And it will not get you the money that you want to get, unfortunately. All right, guys, talk to me. Actually, better.
John, I'm curious who you have for a pool guy that you can get a pool for 40 grand.
Yeah, right? I know, Joanne.
It's more like 100 these days.
Well, my pool is 6 foot by 12 foot. It's a lot.
Dipping pool. There you go. You can get a bathtub for 40 grand.
All right.
No, this is a hard conversation because even if you have sellers that are
Guys, I gotta
understanding,
go take care of something. Keep talking to one another. I'll be right back.
even though we have sellers in some cases that really do get it, like for example, I have a listing right now. It's only been on 14 days. Well, it's over 14 days now because we're through the weekend. So the very first weekend we had an open house. We were listed at 600,000, and the buyers that came through said, "Do you think they would take 550 for it?" And of course, no offers. So then we dropped the price. We had dropped the price aggressively in a sequence throughout the next 10 days to have this second open house. This is our third weekend. We're just passing our third weekend on the market. We've dropped the house a total of $60,000. So we were listed at 600. We're now at 539. And so then the open house, now 2 weeks later, the open house this past weekend, we're getting opinions of value at 5 to 515. And I'm like, this is crazy. We are aggressively dropping the price and no offers. And values, opinions of value keep coming down and down and down within 2 weeks.
And guys, that's in Tampa. Tampa is still supposed to have a good market, right? You don't hear the stories that you're hearing out of Austin, Texas. But what is that telling everybody? Does a shift happen in one state and the other 49 states are good? Never.
No.
Never. Emily, talk to me. I'm sorry.
Well, I had a brand new listing go live. It actually was coming soon on Thursday and it went active for showings on Saturday, listed at 339, which I thought at that price point, there's like nothing. And this is a nice home at 339, not one showing booked.
All right.
I'm shocked.
You know, the hard part is that our clients look for us to be the expert.
Yes.
And in a down market that we're chasing, we don't always have the right answers. Most of the time we don't. It's like, not do you need to drop it, but it's like, what number will actually get some traction? And that's a totally different conversation because we want to give good advice, but we haven't been good at giving it good advice lately. You know, the number that will drop a $2.5 million listing to $300,000 and it's still not getting it done.
No. I have a friend who has a home on the market. Started out at 2.4 million. It's down to 2 million. Worth 2.4 million, by the way, at 2 million, still hasn't sold, no offers. Emily, here's what the market is telling me. The market is telling me that regardless of the home being priced right or not, there's no buyers right now. There's nobody looking to buy right now. Interest rates are too high. Buyers are scared, guys. They're buying at a time when they know prices are going down. Now, 6 months ago, that wasn't the case because the media is always 6 months behind reality. So the media is finally starting to talk about we're in a shifting market. We've been in one, but now the buyers are reading these articles and now they're afraid. And what are they afraid of? They're afraid of paying too much.
How low they're gonna go.
That's right. How low are the prices are going to go, Crystal? If I buy this house for $350,000, I mean, it meets all my needs. It's exactly what I'm looking for. But what's it going to be worth a year from now? Do you know of anybody who bought a home? I'll raise my hand because I'm one of them. Do you know anybody who bought a home in 2005, 2006, got 100% financing, no doc loan?
And the rates
That's
were
when I bought my home.
6.5%.
Right? The lender said, can you breathe? I said, yes, cool. You've got the loan. Matter of fact, they wanted to give me 120% of the value. Where did Joanne go? So I could put in a new pool, Joanne. So they wanted to give me 120% of the value. So we buy it $360,000 with the pool. So we're financed, maxed. Within 3 years, that $360,000 home was worth $200,000.
John, what I'm hearing also, at least from the people around me, is that no one is even putting in lowball offers.
They're not
They're
buying.
just saying, I'll just wait until it comes down.
That's right. That's right.
And well, they're watching everything come down.
That's right. So if anybody is freaking out right now, here's the solution for you, okay? 2007, 2008, 2009, we were still selling roughly 3.8 to 4 million homes a year. Same thing's going to happen this time. There's never been a market where everybody just stopped buying. There's never been a market where nothing was being sold. All right. Your job and I'm pivoting the conversation from having intelligent seller conversations to lead generation right now. Your job is find the motivated. Now, how do you find the motivated? Talk to more people. They're out there. You got to go find them. If you haven't started looking for distressed properties, start. They're in your market. I promise. Start lead generating to distressed property owners. I specialize in helping homeowners avoid foreclosure. If you know of anybody who's behind on their mortgage, I can help them. Somebody asked me the other day what percentage of our sales were, because we did a lot of short sales 2008, 9, 10. Somebody asked me what percentage of our sales during that time were short sales. The answer was 70%.
Wow.
70%. I think we sold 100 homes in 2008, which means 70 short sales.
Wow.
And the wacky pendulum's about to start. I saw a lender is now offering, they'll give you a loan for the 3% down payment, a 0% loan, and then they'll loan you the other 97% on the purchase of the home. That may get some people off the rockers to make some moves, but it's not going to be a good outcome.
Well, yeah,
because the values are going to be going down.
Those people are going to be upside down in their mortgage.
Yep.
And they're going to create short sales by doing this.
It's just hard to know. Like tomorrow, I'm meeting with actually a power of attorney, a lady that passed away. My niche is 55 and older active adults, so I deal with that a lot. A lot of homes that are never moved into. This one, the lady barely lived in it. She passed away, and I'm meeting her for a listing tomorrow. There's 17 active resales in this community right now, and we're competing against the builder. I mean, I have no idea what to tell her to price the thing at, because like John just said, the motivated people in there that have no maybe emotional attachment to their property at all, they just are slashing the prices, and this house is worth way more than what I feel we're going to get for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Emily, if you're competing against new construction, now it's an even different, even tougher game. It's totally.
All their incentives, and they're cutting their prices.
Well, and sometimes it's not a good time for the homeowner to sell. It's like you're just going to be wasting your time.
Well,
and
okay,
it's like
that goes to motivation, Brian. Why are you selling? Okay.
Well, in Austin, it's actually not very good for new home sales as well. I'm really close to have some really good buddies that are sales reps. She told me just last week she had 15 people came in and did an application, and they've been MIA. So it's crazy in new home sales here in Austin too.
All right, who's depressed?
You couldn't possibly be, John.
I'm not.
You know,
depressed.
you've been through this before.
I've been looking forward to this.
I'm not depressed. I think this is a great opportunity.
Yes.
You know, if you know how to handle buyers, if you know how to show them the information,
Yes.
they'll make a quick move. They will. Like
There you
if
go.
you tell them it's at 400, would you make an offer at 299? You know, the answer is yes. So let's make that offer.
Yeah.
Because most of the time with first time home buyers, it's just getting through the paperwork. Once you get them through that paperwork the first time, then it's like they're slapping, cards down. Let's do another one. And they just kind of go through, and with high inventory, they're finding the homes.
There you go.
well, the other thing, Sean, like we had on our Tuesday call, there's a realtor in Austin who's getting incredibly creative, and that's the other part of the conversation. He's finding owner finance deals for his buyers.
Mhm.
So they don't like the interest rates that are out in the marketplace, but they sure as heck like 3 or 4% where they can work a deal out with the seller, and he's getting deals done because he's getting really creative.
Yeah.
This is a really good talk. It is 9:34, so we do need to wrap it up. Great conversation today. Thanks for being here, everybody. Leave on a positive note. This is a skill-based market. You are skill-based agents. How do I know that? Because you're here. You have an advantage over everybody else. Go get your unfair share. This is when you gain market share. When things are easy, everybody is selling homes. When things get tough, skill-based agents are dominating the market. Go get it.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Right.
Yeah. Y'all take care. We'll
Thanks,
see you
John.
tomorrow.